Hey guys, welcome back. So, we made it to California. It was a doozy. Man, I was hurting like 90% of the way down here. And I ran into some problems when I was in Phoenix. They took 5.5 hours to get me unloaded. And I was trying to drive, like we said earlier, I was trying to drive from Phoenix to California the same day and park over there like close to LA so I can pick up my next load. Well, that didn't happen, so I had to stay in Phoenix and then the next day I was going to leave, but my Qualcomm had me on the drive line for like 3 hours while my truck was turned off and parked. I'm like, what? So yeah, it had me on the drive line, so I had to call and get that done. I couldn't call that night, like when I seen it that night, because everybody's gone. So wait in the morning, called in. By then, my load picked up at 12. I wasn't gonna be there till almost 1 o'clock. By the time they got in the office up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, as opposed to the time it was over here in California, well, Phoenix. So all that happened, and they still agreed to say, hey, don't worry, you can pick it up late. Pick it up. I said, man, I ain't gonna be there till like almost 1400 now. So they was like, all right, that's fine. I started driving. This is that morning. I started driving there, halfway there, and they was like, yeah, that load canceled. I'm like, what? They was like, yeah, they don't have enough. Not product, but they didn't have enough production to get the product or whatever. I was like, who booked this load? No one, they couldn't even make the stuff. Like, it's not even made. They couldn't make the product because they didn't have enough production to do. I'm like, okay. So I was like, all right. I wasn't really that worried. It was a good, decent load, but it's like, usually come out of California, I like to do a lot more than that, but it was still good. And so it canceled. I'm still on my way to California. I look at my phone. Wow. There's a load. My normal load coming out of there is on there. And so I called him and was like, hey, can I get this load? Can I pick this load up at 14? They was like, no, it's got to be picked up by 10. I was like, yeah, well, it's going to be 10 in like, an hour. And it's still on here. I was like, they was like, well, it's still got to be picked up by 10, so we can't do that. And plus, it'll be gone. No, it was like 8 something, so it had 2 hours on it. They was like, it's be gone the next hour. I was like, okay. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm looking at other stuff, and it's about 11 o'clock. That load is still there. The load is still there. And by 12 o'clock, the load done went up another $500 in price. And now it's saying the load, they changed the time. It can be picked up from 10 to 1400. The same exact time I said I was going to be there to pick it up. I still couldn't do it though. Because what happened was, in the middle of me driving, they called me and says, hey, you've been randomly you've been randomly selected to do a drug screen. I'm like, yeah, right. It's because I keep going to Los Angeles. But anyway, it was like, you've been randomly selected to do a drug screen, so I had to go do that. So I couldn't even be there till 1500 now. So I was like, well, I'm not even gonna call them. So by the time I got to the drug screen, I went back to my phone, because I still haven't booked nothing yet, and I'm still heading to Los Angeles. I'm in like Palm Desert, but now I'm getting it done in Palm Desert, and so I've still got like an hour and a half before I would even get to LA. So I'm like, on my phone, I looked for that load for that day, and it wasn't there no more. So I was like, yeah, okay, I guess somebody finally got it, because they, upped the price to another $500. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. But I look for tomorrow, and I'm like, what? The same exact load is for the next day. Same exact numbers, all that stuff. I was like, nobody booked it for that day, so they put it on for the next day. Which, why couldn't you just done that for me in the first place? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make them pay for that. You know what? I asked to do it at $1,400, and you literally wrote me off and said, no, it'll be gone by then. It's still here. So you know what? Like freaking Fat Joe said, the price done went up. So I done put the price in. I said, you know what? I put 12. I said, I want 12 one. I put it in, and they came with a counter offer instantly that said 11. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that, even though 11 was 500 more than it was previously. But I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'll do something else before I drive across the country, and I'll just do something else. There was a whole bunch of good loads, you know, going to Florida and stuff like that. But I got to get home soon because we're going to Vegas. Me and my wife for a honeymoon. So I was like, nope. So I waited 3 minutes, and I said, the lowest I'm going is 11.5. And if they don't want that, well, I typed in $4 a mile, and it was 11,340, whatever it was a mile for it. And I was like, well, I don't want to put that. I'm gonna put 11.5. If they don't want 11.5, I'm not doing it. So I put 11.5, and it came back and said accepted. I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. So the moral of that story is, you got to know your worth. I watched that whole load that first time. She said no the first time, and it just stayed. There was two of them. There was two of the exact same load. Well, two of the loads. One was like actually about a little lighter than that one, but it had 2 picks. 2 picks, 1 delivery. This one only had 1 pick, 1 delivery. So I wanted to do this one anyway. Because, you know, I hate going to Los Angeles trying to find your way around. But so I was like watching that whole load for the whole day, and it just kept, you know, it was there. And I was like, what is going on? You know, so I was like, all right. Yeah, I remember when I first did this load, I did it the first time for $9,000. Well, I put in the bid for $9,000, and it got accepted. And something happened to call back, and they said, no, you know what I'm saying, you got to do this and do that. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. An hour and a half later, it was still there. I put in the bid. I said 10. I just wanted my first $10,000 load. I was like, I'm gonna just say 10, and they accepted it. So I was like, oh, okay, I did it. So from there, at 10,000, which I thought was cray, I got it for 11.5 this time, and I'm not going below that. So if I ever do this load again, 11.5 or higher. I wanted to do 13. So the next time I do it, I'm gonna try to do 13. But I was like telling my brother, I'll accept 11, but you know, or 10, you know, 10.5. That's 500 more than. But so now it's like 11.5 or higher for that level. Anyway, I just wanted to say we're on our way back east. Picked it up this morning. Not too bad actually. Pretty simple, except for the goddamn getting in there. Like, I had to drop my trailer with my truck at a goddamn 68-degree angle because there was a fence right in front of the. I'm like, this is the most inconvenient backing in. Like, so I had to drop my trailer to get out of there because they needed trucks to go back and forth. But if my truck was lined up straight up and down, no truck can go past me in the front. So that's how much room they had for you to back in there. And I'm like, this is weird. But yeah, so I'm out of here. I'm going over there to the east. And so it's 11.5. You guys do the math. I'm at 70% of that. That should be $8,050 net for that. If you guys got your calculators out. So yeah, 6 days to get there. Not heavy, and I'm out. So that's one way you can get loads for some people that was asking me about stuff. You got to know how to negotiate. You got to negotiate. Same thing we did at Panther. Same thing my brother's still doing at Panther. Same thing you just do. You got to negotiate. You don't just take what they give you. You got to know your worth, you know. And if you don't think your worth is that much, you'll just take what they give you. Like my brother was talking. I'm sorry it's going on for long, but my brother was telling me about this guy that was just taking any old load over there. And no wonder people complaining about, yeah, I wouldn't work here, man. You get the crap loads, and no, you're the one taking them. Why is he making $26,000 gross, every 2 weeks, and you taking home $865? And you're like, come on, what's going on? What is going on? All right, peace. Love you guys. Out.